The Democrats are all set for the upcoming U.S. presidential election. The Democratic National Convention ended with fanfare and fireworks. The highlight of day 4, was the acceptance speech of Joe Biden. It is being called a speech that is likely to be remembered for its emotion rather than its content. So what exactly did Joe Biden talk about? He laid out his vision for America. He also sees the opportunity to hit out at U.S. President Donald Trump. The Wuhan virus pandemic, of course, found a mention. Biden called the situation a perfect storm. He spoke about the United States' economic crisis and the calls for racial justice. Biden pledged to be the quote-unquote generation that finally wipes out the stain of racism from the national character. Well, there was also the mention of jobs, expanding train lines, constructing more ports and airports. After his speech, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris greeted a crowd in Delaware. The nominees were joined by their partners. Joe Biden's message to the voters was to unite in the love for each other. Also making an appearance were Joe Biden's children, Ashley and Hunter Biden. Let's bring you the highlights from the grand finale of the Democratic National Convention.
We want to tell you what kind of president our dad will be.
He will be tough,
And honest.
caring, and principled.
He'll listen.
So it's with great honor and humility, I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America. But while I'll be a Democratic candidate, I will be an American president. I'll be a president who will stand with our allies and friends and make it clear to our adversaries the days of cozying up to dictators is over. Under President Biden, America will not turn a blind eye to Russian bounties on the heads of American soldiers. I met with 6-year-old Gianna Floyd the day before her daddy, George Floyd, was laid to rest. She's an incredibly brave little girl. And I'll never forget it. When I leaned down to speak to her, she looked in my eyes and she said, and I quote, "Daddy changed the world. Daddy changed the world." And this is a battle we will win, and we'll do it together. I promise you. Thank you, and may God bless you, and may God protect our troops.
So that was the Democrats wrapping up their national convention. All eyes are now on the Republicans. Their convention begins next week. The agenda technically is the same. The Republicans will formally nominate Donald Trump as their presidential candidate. There is no word yet on who will be Trump's running mate. The Republican convention will be held in Charlotte, in North Carolina. The theme is honoring the great American story. And speaking of great stories, Donald Trump has heard none in the last 24 hours. The president has been slapped with a series of bad news that have spelled trouble for him. First, there's a good possibility that Trump's tax records may soon be out in the open. Remember, the Manhattan district attorney had issued a subpoena to Trump's accounting firm. Trump had challenged that. Now, a federal judge has rejected the president's plea, meaning Americans may be able to see Donald Trump's tax records before casting their ballot in November. And this could open a Pandora's box on the hush money payoff, the case involving porn star Stormy Daniels. There's a lot that's going to come out in the run-up to the election. And if this was not bad enough, Donald Trump's former White House strategist Steve Bannon was arrested on Thursday. He was charged with fraud. We told you about it last night on the show. Now, Donald Trump has reacted to the news of the arrest. He's called it a sad event. Only to add that he was not in touch with Steve Bannon and knows nothing about the organization involved in the $25 million duping scandal, $25 million. There's something else that the US president is sulking over: the inability to block critics from his Twitter handle. Last year, a federal appeals court ruled that since Donald Trump uses his personal handle for official announcements, blocking users from that page would amount to the violation of the First Amendment, the one that guarantees freedom of expression and press. Now, the president has moved the US Supreme Court over this. He argues that his Twitter handle is his personal property and it is independent of the presidential office. Well, all we can say is that Trump should once again go back and read the federal appeal court's rule.